Hey, how's it going? Bill DeWeese here from voice-over-training.org, and I hope you're doing well and hanging in there this winter. I know spring is just around the corner. I'm looking forward to that. And aside from this recent run-in with a razor that I had while shaving, and in all my years of shaving, which are quite a few, I've never quite lost as much flesh when shaving as I did here on my lip the other day. So, what's up with that? Fortunately, it's not affecting my voiceover work, but like I said, doing great. Looking forward to spring. And today I want to share with you some important information. And if you follow my YouTube channel, Voiceover Expert, or if you follow my blog at all on voice-over-training.org, you know that I am all about training, equipping, giving knowledge, and providing some inspiration to help you be successful in your voiceover business. And I really think it all starts. You have to start from, in any kind of business, you have to start from the client perspective. And you have to ask yourself, what is it that my client or my prospective client wants? And fortunately for you and I, this is not difficult to figure out. And here's how I figured it out. I simply asked. I have regular conversations with my clients, and one of the things that I really like to do especially with a new client, is I'll often call them up on the telephone just to express my gratitude and appreciation, for their business. And I almost always ask them as a follow-up to that, may I ask why you hired me for the job? And it's amazing how open and honest people will be when you simply, when you ask them a question. And what really amazes me by the answer is that it's almost always identically the same. And this is not just an answer that has meaning for me, but I think it should have meaning for all voice over talent. And that is, there are two things that I am told consistently by my clients, the reason they hire me. Number one is they're looking for a quality product. Now, how do you define quality? Understandably, that's a hard word to grab hold of. It's kind of like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. How do you get a grasp on what is quality? Well, I think there are a couple of elements to that. One is providing an error-free, or at least near error-free product to your customer, meaning that it's proofread, you've gone back and you've double-checked and made sure that you have not mispronounced words, or you have incorrectly, or you've added words or taken out words, read sentences incorrectly, those basic kind of things. And because anytime you make a mistake and you send it to a client, that's more time for the client. And time is money for them, and it's money for you ultimately as well. So you want to make sure that you proof everything to make sure that it's as error-free as possible. Granted, when you're doing a long-form narration of any type, even if you proof it, chances are you're going to miss, an item or two along the way. But, the goal should always to be is as close to zero defects, as they say in the manufacturing business, as possible. You want to keep it as close to perfect as you possibly can on the editing and on the in terms of the reading side of things. Also, clients appreciate a good quality audio product in terms of literally audio quality, meaning that your studio is set up in such a way that provides them a competitive product. It should sound very competitive to the best voiceover work that's being put out there. And one great way to do that is simply to listen to other people's work. And I found a great resource for that is voicebank.net, where you can listen to demos of some of the best talent here, in this country and around the world. And always be comparing yourself to the best in every aspect of what you do, because that's the standard you should strive to attain and exceed. But make sure that the audio quality, your microphone, your preamp, everything, your studio space is helping you to put out a quality sound, an audio signal that is quality and competitive. Next would be simply your read style. And I always encourage, and I follow this advice myself, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. It doesn't matter how many years, it doesn't matter how good you are. You should always be seeking to become better. Who you are now should be not who you are a year from. You should be better a year from now than you are now. How do you do that? You do that through getting one-on-one coaching. You do that through observation. You do that by studying the marketplace. You listen to the best talent. As I mentioned earlier, voicebank.net is a great resource because you have access to demos of some of the top talent. Also, watching network television and listening to network quality advertising will give you a sense of what's happening right now in the marketplace and what the best of the best are doing. So make sure, again, that you're error-free or as close to zero defects as you can, a quality audio signal, and that your read style is good and it's appropriate for that particular project and that you're always improving. Now, here's the second thing. And the second thing should even be easier to attain than the first. But yet, it seems to me as I talk to my clients, this is one of the most difficult things for them to find. And that is fast turnaround on their projects. Now, 80 to 90% of the work out there is being done by audio production companies, recording studios, video production companies that produce local and regional radio and TV commercials, corporate videos, audiobooks, instructional narration, and instructional type products. And I don't know why. I can tell you, the reality and why it's this way. I don't know if it's part of the culture or if it's just the nature of the beast, which I tend to think that it is. But that is, fast turnaround is very important to these folk. Now, here's my disclaimer. When you're dealing with, the other 10% of the work out there, which is through agencies and through, casting houses where there's a process involved, then clients know there's a process and they expect that there's a process in casting and there's a process in the recording process as well, where you'll most likely be doing an ISDN session or a live studio session with an engineer and a director and possibly the client or a committee, the clients as a committee, whereas that's a process. But the bulk of the work out there, and certainly the bulk of what I do, is going to be all of these production houses that need and require fast turnaround. And what I'm hearing from them is that's not what they're getting from the majority of the voiceover talent that they work with. As a matter of fact, almost without exception, after they answer my question, and what is it, why did they hire me? The thing that they say after they give these two criteria of quality and speed is, and I'm surprised at how difficult it is to find. So think about it. There are this many voiceover talent out there, a lot of voiceover talent, but only this many are providing a quality product and doing it quickly. And I hear comments from clients about, I've heard the word, I think, flaky thrown around a number of times. And what they mean by flaky is that voiceover talent who simply don't communicate. They're given the job and they don't hear back from them for days. And most projects that I see from clients, they would like to have within 24 to 48 hours, more within 24-hour turnaround. And then many of those really want, if at all possible, on the same day. Now, you may have heard me say that I average 7 to 8 projects a day that I record for clients. And I have a system that allows me, the way I do my work and my workflow, and certainly from the experience that I have, and I've done this a lot, is that I can provide a quality product and do it quickly. But if you want to compete for that lion's share of the work out there in the voiceover marketplace, you have to not only be good, but you have to be quick. You have to communicate. And if you don't, you see, maybe that's one of the reasons, and I think it is. I mean, aside from, certainly you have to have a certain level of talent, and I know, and I'm certainly good at what I do, but equally as important is I'm fast at what I do. Clients require it. And if you want to build a sizable, sustainable voiceover business, it will be more than likely that you will have to be fast as well, because that's what the majority of clients in the marketplace are looking for. So again, armed with that information, take that, apply that to your business, and grow your business. And speaking of growing your business, and as I mentioned before, that's what I'm all about, helping you and coaching you, encouraging you, inspiring you to do exactly that. I have a free upcoming webinar this Tuesday night, February. See, I'm so anxious for the spring, I've already catapulted myself a month forward. I wish. February 28th, this Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, which will be 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific. And if you're in any other part of the globe, you'll have to do the math yourself. I'm sorry. But I'll be doing a 1-hour webinar. And here's the URL. The website address is voiceovercoach.com. It's there's actually another word that I'm leaving out. voiceovercoachlive.com. voiceovercoachlive.com. And I'll be doing, again, a webinar that will be dealing specifically with, well, I'll be calling it a voiceover spring tune-up. And this is the perfect time of year. I think there are a couple of, for me, I like to work off the calendar. I think, the very beginning of the year is a good time to do this. And I also think, and if you haven't done that yet, as you're looking forward to the spring, I think now's a good time to be thinking about that. As you think about spring cleaning and getting ready for the summer, now's a great time to evaluate the critical components of your voiceover business that can make a big difference in you either making a sizable and sustainable income, or for you floundering along and finding it difficult to pay the monthly rent. So we'll be talking about a spring tune-up for your voiceover business that will, for the sole express purpose of helping you to be more successful and making more money in your voiceover business. Again, this Tuesday night, February 28th, 7 p.m. Central Time at voiceovercoachlive.com. And for more resources and information to help you grow your voiceover business, of course, you're always invited to visit and hang out at voice-over-training.org. All the best to you, and I look forward to talking to you real soon. Talk to you Tuesday night.